What's good, everybody? Thank you so much for tuning into the Writer's Room, where we do reviews, reactions, and recaps. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Today, we are reviewing and recapping episode 5 of Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. Now, this episode starts off with our boy Marvin. He is talking to the local crack fiend, and he is out at the trap house trying to get, his daily fix. And we see that Marvin comes out in this strange Missy Elliott type of outfit, basically saying that shop is closed down for the day, that he is cleaning up, so send everyone away. Like, Marvin didn't even charge him for the crack. So I think Marvin is really coming along just fine. But we see as Marvin goes back into the trap house, we see that that body is being recovered and he is about to do away with it. Remember from the first season, when Rock was assaulted by the landlord, she went ahead and handled him the way that it should have been. Although I am not an advocate for the M word, you know what I mean. So we have Marvin basically Lysoling the guy, and this part was just so funny. If you can see the look on Marvin's face, I got it up on the screen. My man's is taken out by this whole body thing. For you to be in this business, he's shook right now. But we see, going on to the next scene, we have Rock letting Kanan know, waking him up, saying, hey, remember when we went camping? That was so fun. Like, Kanan is like, you hated camping, but she is letting him know that we are gonna go camping today, so get your things, let's go. Now, while all of that is going on, we see outside, we have the Italians in the car, and they're basically trailing Rock and the crew, and they actually plan on taking them out. Now, this scene does establish one of the men is a little bit on the extremist side when it comes to his racism, and he just can't keep himself contained from wanting to take out not only Rock, but Kanan and anyone else that is basically colored in his eyes. And so we already know this is going to play out later on in the episode. But going back to Rock, Kanan, and Jukebox, Kanan is taking it back because he wants Jukebox to come. It's very awkward and tense between him and Rock right now, and he just does not want to be alone with her. And my guess is that he just doesn't want to hear any more of Rock's lies. Obviously, he's caught her in too many lies before this, so he just wants Jukebox to be there. She's like, nah, I'm good, don't worry about it. Now, Jukebox is listening to the tape that Crown gave her, saying that this was something for her. Now, initially, I did believe that she was going to write to a beat and he was going to steal it, but it's even worse. She's already written this song and he's already stolen it. So for my girl Jukebox, it is not looking good for her. I mean, she's even projecting her hate and disdain for the cops and just for people in general, parents, shall I say, as she's projecting that onto Kanan when he says that he believes Detective Howard is his dad. And she's basically like, he's a cop, he lies. So my girl Juke is going through it, and I really hope that things look better for her. But of course, because of the original Power, we know that Juke is continuously going to get messed up because of how she ended up in the original Power. Now, switching on over to Lou and Crown, we see that that very song that Jukebox was listening to, which was obviously her song that she sang in the studio that time with Crown, it's been sped up and they've kind of made this soul hip hop beat to it and got homegirls singing on it, and it sounds good. I mean, I can't complain about it, but we see that they are shopping it around, trying to get it, spins. At that point, it's a DJ-led industry, so they're just trying to get it spins, and basically Crown shuts Lou out of the whole conversation and is just like, oh, he's just the money man. He doesn't know anything about this. Like, he's just new. And you can tell that Lou is disgruntled by this because, hello, my man, I made the beat. Not only am I putting up the money for this, but I'm doing majority of the work. And we see that he has really had it up to here dealing with Crown. You even have Crown afterward trying to scold Lou on how to talk to the DJ when it comes to, promoting business and getting the business out there, getting these songs spun. And I mean, Lou just turns around and decks him, which I am totally okay with because Lou is just starting to seem more and more desperate to be in this industry, that he's willing to be up under this man's thumb. I mean, this man, has been screwing your girl, got her a job halfway across the world. Not only that, but he humiliates you in front of what could be future business partners, and he constantly belittles you and act like you don't contribute into his business at all, when we all know Lou is out here making the beats. He's getting numbers. He's getting the money behind Bulletproof Records. So, of course, in true Lou fashion, he handles him the way that he should have been handled. And so, after we get done with Lou and Crown, we do go back to Rock, Kanan, and we see that Marvin has met them at the front of the house with this car. And of course, Kanan is like, "Where's your car at? What are we doing?" And Rock just lets him know that we are using this car for the weekend. Now, seeing Marvin here lets me know that they have that body in the trunk of this car. And once again, Rock is not including Kanan on the full story of what's going on. And Kanan is questioning her because he knows that Rock is always lying to him. So it just makes no sense for her to shut him out when at some point she's going to need his help in covering up this body. One thing about this scene that I was actually interested in and I was happy with was Marvin finally letting Jukebox just be upset with him fully. You see that she's still looking salty in the window, and you can tell that all of that pain and rage that she was just spewing and projecting onto Kanan, she is looking straight dead at Marvin with that same intensity. And I'm glad that Marvin just let it be. And so we get Rock and Kanan driving up to the mountains, and Rock, being a woman with a dead body in her trunk, is a little on edge when she sees the police behind her. But we move along because the police did not stop her, thankfully. But we have her having this awkward conversation with Kanan about Davina. Now, that's a name we have not heard since the second half of the first season, because we all know that Davina was the one who snitched on Kanan to Unique. And so it was nice to hear of where she might have gone. He just said that she went to South Carolina. And so she's like, well, are there any other girls? Because you haven't told me. And it's a nice, endearing moment. Just briefly before Kanan decides to turn on the radio, he does tell Rock about the girl that is in Famous's apartment building. Next, we transition to your boy Marvin, and he is out to breakfast with your girl Renee. And I told you I see a budding love story brewing between Renee and Marvin, which I really love that they wanted to develop. The story writers really wanted to develop a relationship between them and not just have it built entirely on like just sexual attraction. But you can tell that Renee really cares for Marvin outside of just signing off on papers for him to, be free of whatever crime that he committed with the courts. Now, Marvin finally gets a little bit more vulnerable with Renee, because we know that Marvin has really secretly been taking her advice and been doing the exercising, and it's really been working for Marvin. But he just lets Renee know that, hey, I have a daughter. She won't talk to me at all, and it's because of something that I did. He did make mention that it wasn't anything sick, although him choking his daughter is not really the best. But I'm glad that he made mention of that, because then my story tale can continue. My love tale can continue. So we just see them have a nice moment of vulnerability, and Marvin just letting someone know how he really feels about life at this moment. Going back to your girl Rock and Kanan, we see them pulling up at the store, or the general store of the camping grounds, and they're just getting some things, some hot dog buns and everything. And Rock she's on her toes right now. She's looking around, she's observing everything, and she buys a knife. But before she buys that knife, she sees that Kanan is kind of eyeing this white girl that works there. And I didn't realize that this, relationship will build throughout the episode, and it would actually come back later on with those two Italian men. But I'm glad that they did touch on it, because as I watched it the second time, I was able to catch it like, oh gosh, okay, Rock was already on edge with just going to this area. Now we see that Juke has pulled up on Zisa, and basically to confront her about stealing her song, or so she thinks. But Zisa just lets her know that look, Crown gave me this song and told me that Lou wanted me to have it. That's who gave it to me. I don't need to steal anybody's song. I have my own songs. And we do know that Zisa does write her own things. She actually wrote the song that she was singing in the car when Lou first found her. So we do know this to be true. And she basically just, now Juke has egg on her face for even thinking that Zisa stole her music, and not that her uncle, her own flesh and blood, gave her music away. Now this, you can tell that Juke is startled and taken aback, because she trusted Uncle Lou. She trusted Lou not only with her music, but she trusted Lou with her words. Those were words that she wrote for her deceased girlfriend. So, I mean, it was just completely whack the way that he handled this situation. Even though he better explains it later on in the episode, it was whack overall. Next, we go back to our boy Marvin. He is keeping a close eye out on Tony. We know that Tony was the one who placed charges on Marvin, and that is the reason why he's even in anger management class. I am interested to see why exactly he's contacting Tony and what the meaning of it is, but he is stopped by the police because, I mean, the neighborhood police guy can patrol everything else outside of what he really needs to patrol. But we see that Marvin is quick on his feet and just lets him know that, hey, I'm just resting and eating. Of course, you don't want me doing this while I'm driving. And the police does decide to let him go. But the police does continue to follow Marvin. Luckily, while Marvin is peeping Tony and her new husband, or her husband-to-be, we see that Marvin does notice the police is driving behind him. Now, what is Marvin going to do next? I don't know. We're going to have to talk about it and what to expect on this next episode, because we're midway through the season and I'm excited to see what Marvin is going to do when he confronts Tony. Now, as we go back to our girl Rock and Kanan, we see that they're coming back from the store back to the cabin, and those two guys are still following them. We know that those are Italian men sent by the Italian mafia. Normally, Rock does stay strapped and ready, so I'm prepared to see a nice fight between her and these Italian men and how she's going to get away later on in the episode. Now, we go back to the sticky situation that your boy Lou is in with Jukebox. Jukebox comes storming into the studio just to go off on him and let him know that I know exactly what you did. You stole my music and gave it away without my consent. Now, in this, Lou does give an explanation for this and just lets her know that, look, there's so much money out there to be made with publishing. It was a beautiful song. And I mean, Jukebox is clocking him at every turn and it's just like, what are you trying to say? It was too beautiful for me. And this does disturb. I mean, Lou has been on one this entire episode. So Jukebox has a right to be upset, but it's sad because this is the music industry. Even in 2022, we still have problems with producers and other artists that are mainstream stealing the music and the work. Now, Lou is doing Juke, I guess, a favor by saying that you will still get songwriting credits and you'll get money forever off of this record if it becomes a hit. So what do you guys think of that situation? Just put it down in the comments below. Do you feel bad for Juke? Is she going overboard? Is she making the right decision? We shall see. Now, moving along, we have Detective Burke. She is questioning our good sis that has been sleeping with Detective Howard. Now, to me, this was just completely overboard and just overstepping the line of trust between partners. Now, Detective Burke has an amazing intuition because we all know that Detective Howard is hiding the fact that he does remember what happened to him and he remembers who shot him. So this is, I'm kind of up in the air on how I feel about the situation, but I do think that it does cross the line of, you know, threatening a mother who's just out here hustling, working hard to take care of her son, and to even threaten her with CPS. Now, because she hit her with the CPS and health services and taking away her son, she does then tell Detective Burke that, yes, Howard does have a son out there. That's all that he's told me. We know that Detective Howard told her that in secrecy, just trying to let down his guard because he was really trying to figure out what to do about Kanan. So we know this is not going to go over well with Detective Howard. We briefly go back to Rock and Kanan at the campsite eating a hot dog, enjoying themselves. But we see that Rock is letting Kanan know she's trying hard. She's almost in her Marvin phase of desperosity and trying to connect with her son. But she's trying hard and just trying to get him to enjoy being out there. But Kanan knows that she has a secret. He doesn't know what that secret is, but he knows that Rock is hiding a lot of things from him. So he is not up to talking to her about hiking, swimming, or any of that jazz. And though this means nothing to Kanan because he's still feeling awkward, and for a good reason. He knows that his mom is hiding things. I don't know why she's pretending that he's 10 and doesn't see right through her bullcrap, but he knows that, and he does tell her that he's gonna go to the store and grab some more things, and basically just to exit out of the conversation of everything being his. Obviously, he knows that it's not as simple as that. Now, we do see that those Italian people are still watching Rock, and when this happens and Kanan leaves, the Italian man that does have a little sense lets the other guy know that he's gonna go take care of Rock. Meanwhile, you keep an eye out on the kid. Now, the other guy really wants to hurt Kanan for some odd reason. We all know the reason, but I'm not going to put it here. Just infer. Now, in this moment, Rock is scared. This is where this episode goes into its thriller mode, and I am on my feet. I'm on edge the entire time. Like, oh my gosh, Rock, look up. You're normally strapped. You're normally ready, but you're not feeling ready right now. But luckily, there are two men that come, a man and his son that come in and ask her for more firewood. And this does halt the whole situation with the Italian taking out Rock right then and there at that campfire. Thank God. But Rock does notice that her son has been gone for a minute, so she does go out to find him. And where's Kanan? Kanan is out there with the white girl from earlier in the store, the one that he was talking to. And Kanan is just in his rebellious stage. And of course, the ignorant white man sees this, and he wants to take Kanan out just by associating himself with this white girl. Luckily, Rock does come just in time because he was about to do some stupid crap just to satisfy his own ego and, white power. But nonetheless, he basically tells the white girl, like, oh my God, if you were my daughter, I would lock you up. Sir, stop. Go to hell. So when he returns back to his partner, he just lets him know what happened with Kanan and the girl, and was just like, I was trying to protect her. And his partner he goes off on a tangent and basically like, you weren't trying to protect shit but yourself. You just wanted to white power, and we don't do that. We don't hurt children. And if the boss finds out that you were trying to hurt a kid, he's going to make me put a bullet in your head. Going back to our mains, we have Rock and Kanan. They are enjoying themselves by the campfire. And basically, this conversation does shed a little light on Rock and why she is so persistent on expanding her business as wide as she's trying to expand it, and as quick of time that she's trying to expand it. She does briefly touch on her childhood and her father and her mother, which is Kanan's grandfather and grandmother. But you can catch Rock in deep reflection when talking about her grandfather and how he had all of these amazing traits and skills, and how he had all of these different jobs, but he was still unable to satisfy her mother and even pay for just a simple lifestyle that they were trying to live. And you can tell that this is the reason why Rock goes so hard to protect Kanan and to provide for Kanan, and why she went so hard at first with trying to get him into this elite school and, just wanting him to have a better life than she did. Now, in this, they do talk about her leaving the throne, aka the business, over to Kanan. She basically has her Mufasa moment and is looking off into the abyss and is like, all of this can be yours beyond what the light touches. Now, I'm being silly, but you know what I mean. So that is basically what this conversation is about. It was definitely nice to see Rock in this moment of vulnerability. Now, we touched briefly on Detective Howard. He is in search of Kanan. Kanan, because of course all contact has kind of been broken off with him and Kanan, and he believes that Rock has something to do with this, or something has happened with Kanan to where he's not contacting him anymore. And of course, he just got the news from his friend that Detective Burke is on to him. So maybe he is trying to warn Kanan in a way. But he does stop Jukebox to ask about Kanan's whereabouts. Juke is not here for it and basically tells him to go screw himself. Now, moving along, we get back to Kanan and Rock. And after they've had that in-depth conversation about him obtaining all of everything that she owns right now, the business, she does let him in on the secret of why they are really there at that campsite, and it is to bury someone. She didn't give him any extra information. She is vague when it comes to telling Kanan a lot of things, but yet she wants to include him in the crimes that she commits without letting him know what kind of crime he's committing. Obviously, he is hiding a body, and so Kanan does help his mother out, and you can tell this is one of the moments that really defines the Kanan that we know of from the original Power, because he's so brilliant at hiding the truth or omitting the truth and deceiving people such as Tariq, and we can see that he gets that from Rock. Now, going back to Lou at the studio, Lou just wants to be at the studio and make his music, and he literally keeps getting interrupted. So you can see that his blood is boiled the entire episode, but we have Fame coming in basically to try to get in the studio, and he does spit some nice rhymes to Lou's beat, and Lou is like, yeah, that's cool. Just finish out rapping, like finish writing out your raps, and I'll get you in the studio. Basically, leave me alone. Now, Fame does talk too much and lets him know that, hey, I was not aware that Crown and Jess, was smashing. I would have let you know, like, you family to me. Now, Lou does give off the impression that he gives no damns, but he actually did not know. I think he genuinely just thought that Crown was being an asshole and was helping Jess behind his back, but he was not aware until Fame let him know. Not only has Crown humiliated me, but he's been smashing my girl. Now, I thought that he was aware of this and he honestly did not care, but little does Lou know, he has literally been a punk to Crown without actually knowing that he was being a punk. He thought he was the A side, and clearly he is the B side of this situation. So Lou is had it up to here, and you can tell he is about to set it off the next time that he sees Crown. Moving along, we have our girl Jukebox. She is looking mad different because she has her hair down and she's trying to impress her mom's friends. She went to church, and this is clearly like a choir rehearsal, and you can see homeboy is hitting on Juke, and I don't know, Juke does seem interested in a way to seem like she's not gay. So, but we see that her mom does call her up to the front and ask her to sing to see if she has her voice, and my oh my, does she have her voice on her. Now, I couldn't make out whether or not the mom was feeling a little jelly or envious, because there were some moments where I seen the mom's face and she kind of looked like she was envious of Juke and what she had to offer. So I honestly think that this is going to end horribly for Juke, either with her being gay and her mom finding out, or with her just being jealous of her own daughter. Now, you can take a look at the guy that was trying to holler at Juke. He is looking like he just found his next wife or his wife to be in Juke. And you can see the look on Juke's face. This is the happiest that at this point, she's Laverne. She is not Juke. So next we get into Detective Howard speaking to Andrea, which is the sex worker that Detective Howard has been hooking up with. And he basically questions her about what Detective Burke has said and what she asked. And in this, she does let him know that I told her about your son. This pisses Detective Howard off with good reason, because why would you tell her something personal that I discussed with you in a moment of secrecy, or just me being, using you as my confidant? Like, I wouldn't have even said anything. And so he does kick her out, because at this point, you talk too much, and just by you being here is a problem for me. Now, moving on, we do go back to Kanan and Rock the next day, in which they are leaving this campsite for good, and thankfully, because we have the 2 Italian men that are still following Rock, and that will have probably been following Rock. But Rock does tell Kanan, go turn in the key to the grocery store and don't hook up and don't talk to that girl anymore, because last time there was trouble. Just don't stop. Now in this, Kanan does decide to stop because she stops to talk to him. She's cleaning out a cabin and talks to Kanan, and of course this sets off the ignorant Italian guy. But his partner back at Rock's cabin has been caught slacking, and Rock does have him hemmed up. Remember that knife that she purchased at the grocery store? That was a grand idea, because I'm glad she was finally on her toes with those 2 Italian men. She can tell that they were trouble and they weren't even supposed to be at that campsite. So she was ready for him this time. And right when she is about to make a deal with this man, homegirl comes in screaming, saying he is about to kill Kanan. And so Rock does leave, but in time to save Kanan. Now Kanan grabs the gun and points it at the partner. The partner ends up shooting the stupid partner who he told not to mess with kids. So I do believe that that ignorant guy did end up catching a bullet between his 2 eyes, or maybe he just brought him home and let the boss do that job, you know? But we do see that Rock tells him, we are going to make this deal whether Sal likes it or not. So tell him to get ready, and there's more where that came from. And homegirl isn't going to say anything because she knows that if she says something, you guys are coming after her and my people will also come after her. So she runs out. And I just know that this destroys her entire fantasy of messing with the kid around the block, aka the city black boy. But we see that the partner is probably going to get taken out by the boss, so we just leave him there. Now Rock and Kanan do get in the car and they are on the move, and you just have Kanan, big Kanan, narrating this story, and it is starting to unfold more and more. What did you guys think of this episode? Was it chaotic as what I thought it was? Did you feel like this was such a thrilling episode? I actually had a lot of fun with watching this episode, wanting to like scream at the TV and just rock, go, go, go. So what did you guys think? Do you think that Jukebox is taking it too far? Is she too angry about this whole thing? And could she have possibly been hella rich in the original Power if she would have just given in to Lou's demands or his request as being a songwriter instead of trying to be a singer? Also, do you think Marvin will confront Tony? And do you think that Tony will be okay? Is he going to leave Tony alive throughout this season? I don't know. But also, I do hope that him and Renee do continue to kindle this relationship that they have going on. And what do you guys think of Rock and her relationship with Kanan? Do you think that it will be mended by the end of this season? Or do you think it's going to be drawn further apart and the lines are going to be drawn even thicker because Rock can't act right and just tell Kanan what's up? So be sure to comment down below what you think of this video. Don't forget to hit the share, like, and subscribe button, you guys. And I'll talk to you next time for the next episode. Actually, I'm thinking about doing a what to expect. So go ahead and hit that notification bell so that you can be updated and notified of every time that I upload, because things are getting heated up, you guys, and we have movie reviews that are coming out. I can't wait to dive into some of those. And I will talk to you next time on The Writer's Room.